Welcome back to the Macro Golf YouTube channel. I'm Joe, and today I'm going to take you through 3 exercises that are going to be working on your rotation. We're going to work on mobility, flexibility, strength and power through rotation, all of the things that you're going to need to play your best golf and make your best golf swing. So for these 3 exercises, you are going to need some equipment. So we're either going to need a cable machine that you might find in your gym, or a resistance band that you can anchor at home. And I'm going to show you variations of all 3 of the exercises we're going to do using whatever piece of kit you have access to. So I recommend you learn these 3 exercises, use this video here, make sure you save this video so you can come back to it when you need it, and start to implement these exercises into your current routine. Or if you haven't got a current routine, click the video up here and I'll start to talk through what you can do to build your own strength training plan. Also remember that these are 3 of many exercises we can do to work on our strength, rotation, core, flexibility, all these things. So make sure you do check out the Macro Golf app, where we have hundreds of videos and demonstrations and full following routines even, where you can start to work on your mobility, flexibility and strength power for golf. I'll stick a link for that down below, and I'll also stick a little discount code for you below as well. So let's jump straight into exercise number 1. So exercise number 1 is going to be our golf chop, which can be a rotational exercise, but it's also going to work on something called our oblique sling, which works on the inside of one knee, up the inside of the thigh, all the way up through the hip, across the stomach area, almost like a seat belt across to the opposite shoulder. So we're not only going to be working on rotating, we're also going to be working on rotating and tilting to try and create a little bit more of a rotational movement that's slightly more relative to golf. Sometimes what we see with a lot of rotation movements, they work on this kind of flat plane, where we know that golf has worked more on a 45-degree angle plane. So we need to make sure that we incorporate some of these rotational elements with tilts as well. So we've got a cable and a resistance band. I'm going to show you both variations here. So with the cable machine, we've got a rope attachment. Most gyms will have an attachment like this. So what we can do with the rope attachment is take it all the way to its end so that the butt of the rope is being held into the fixing. I would recommend you start with a lightweight to begin with, just to get a feel for the movement, and then increase it as you feel necessary. So what we're going to do is we're going to place one hand, which can be furthest away from the cable machine, onto the inside of the rope, and then the other hand is going to be placed over, and we're going to drag this thing all the way down, and we're going to pull it into our golf posture. So you can see now I've got kind of feet a little bit wider than golf posture, maybe my torso is a little bit more over than golf posture, but I'm kind of bringing my hands down in line with my hips. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to allow the weight to move back towards the rack. My shoulders are going to start to move. I'm going to stay nice and stable through the hip, and then I'm going to drag my hands down, pump the trail arm through, and I'm trying to pump my trail arm down to my lead toe. Weight goes back, hand pumps through, and you can see a nice bit of turn and rotation through the torso as well. So not only am I just turning, I've got tilt through the shoulder, and then driving the hands down. You can see this nice angle of the shoulder as I work here. I'm going to show you one more. Drive down and drive through. So what you can see from this angle is that we're working from an up, down and across motion, almost like a chopping motion. If I show you the band, same thing would apply here. Band attached around head height. One hand's going to grab onto the band, other hand is going to grab into the same position, and we're going to work from starting in line with the hips. We're going to work it back, shoulders tilt, trail hand down to lead foot, and drive down. I'll show you one more. And drive down. What you see here is I'm not really rotating too much through this hip. Trying to keep hips a little bit more stable and starting to work torso down a little bit more. Trying to engage the core a little bit more here and actually working on a slightly shorter range of motion. So give that one a try, and that is our golf chop. The next exercise is our side punch. Now we're going to start to advance the movement we just did, and we're going to start to work again on this tilt with rotation. But now we're going to really start to work on extending through the upper arm as well. So again, we're going to be quite quiet through the hips. Most of this movement being done through the shoulders, through the torso, through the obliques. And we're going to start to extend this motion to get a little bit more extension through this trail side. So again, 2 setups. One can be the band, the other one can be the handle. We'll start with the cable with the handle. This time I've got it set a little bit lower. So now I've got it just below shoulder height. I'm going to pull this band in. I'm actually going to need a little bit of a lighter weight for this. Pull the hand in towards the trail side, kind of chest nipple area just underneath the armpit. We can get set into our nice strong golf posture, feet nice and wide for a good stable base. And then from here, what's going to happen is the trail side, or side that's away from the cable, is going to start to work up and round, as the trail side from here, nearer the cable, is going to start to work away from me. So I'm going to rotate and punch through, and you can see that the hip clears, shoulder clears, and arms extends. So this shoulder nearest the cable machine starts to work underneath my chin and my shoulder. So it's getting me to rotate and tilt. You can see this really strong kind of angled tilt position. You can see the rotation happening here. You see we need to be strong through the trail side, driving through and up. I'm not really letting this hip clear too much this way, but I'm definitely getting this hip round and through. And I'm a right-handed golfer. I'm doing this obviously on the left side, mostly so that you guys can see through the camera, but I would definitely recommend that you would do this on both sides. So we're not just gonna do it driving through to what would be target. We're gonna do it working through to the backswing and through the downswing as well. Same with the cable, with the band, sorry. So hand goes into the band this time. Same position with the height. Coming through, I'm just gonna get this out the way and drive the hand through. Get this out the way and drive the hand through. And this can be done slow or it can be a little bit more explosive. Sometimes with the band, a little bit more explosive feels a little bit better. So that's exercise number 2, it's our side punch exercise. It'll be a really good development from exercise number 1. So now with exercise number 3, we're going to start to work on disassociating this rotational segment. So when we work in the golf swing, we load up, and as we unload from the top of the swing, lower half initiates the movement, and we get this separation of upper half to lower half. This gives our upper half something to kind of accelerate off of, drive through, and that's what creates all of this effortless power that everyone's after. So we start to train that system. I'm going to use the cable machine again, handle set up at the same height that we had for exercise number 2. We're going to pull the handle out and we're going to drive into the middle of our sternum, feet centered. This time we're working into an upright torso. Now, when hands are going to work from the center, we're going to drive the hands out, and as we push the hands out, we're then going to work the hips away from the rack. Hands come back to the center, and we saw that dissociation. So we're going to push the hands out, shoulders stay square, hips work out and away, back and centered. Show you again, hands work out, they hold the resistance, hips work away and back in. You can see this separation happening from the hips. Absolutely the same movement with the cable as it is with the band. So band comes into the center, band works out, stabilize through the shoulders, rotate through the hips, back in, hands out, and rotate. So again, we're going to do this on both sides. What we noticed again, as a right-handed golfer, this would feel like I'm doing it on the left side, where actually if I flipped it around the other way and I held this way, this would be a little bit more kind of simulating a downswing where my hips would initiate the movement and then torso would then follow. So we can see that when we add all 3 of these exercises together, we're now working on our separation, we're working on our rotation, working through extension to this side, and also working on our tilt as well. When we put all 3 together, we're covering all areas we're going to need for our rotation. So there we have our 3 rotational areas for golf. So hopefully you've given these exercises a little try, started to learn exactly how to perform them, and maybe you've even come back and watched this a few times and now you're starting to get stronger in these exercises, and hopefully you might even start to notice the difference in your golf already as well. So if you haven't yet started to implement this into your plan, I recommend adding these exercises in towards the end of your current workouts if you have a current workout plan in place. If not, remember, you can go back and watch the video on how to build your own strength training plan and start to incorporate these exercises into a strength training plan that's going to cover upper body, lower body, pushing movements, pulling movements, and all the other things we should be doing in our gym training plan. If you have any questions on how this would apply to you and your personal circumstance, drop a comment below. I will get back to all of the comments and all the questions, so don't be afraid to ask any question that you need. Stick it below. Remember to check out the Macro Golf app. Please also, if you can, click the little like button if you like this video. It really helps me and helps other people find this video that like you and needed this type of content. Make sure you hit subscribe as well and join our community of growing golfers trying to get fitter and stronger and play their best golf. Until then guys, I'll see you on the next video.